So today for our project, we're going to be creating a spirit animal for a picture of yourself. So for our demo today, we're going to be using a celebrity and an animal. Uh, so for the pictures, make sure you're finding them from, when you're finding them from Google, you want to use tools and choose large style photos so that it makes it easier for when you zoom in and cut them. They're not pixelated or blurry at all. So for our purposes today, we have this picture of Chris Pratt I found from the internet, as well as this picture of an alpaca. And again, both are high quality photos so that when we zoom in, they can be edited without becoming blurry. So on your main photo, which will be the photo of yourself, what you want to do is open it, go to File, under Photo P, open, and choose the photo uh, on your desktop or in your folder. We're going to copy that background. So again, dragging the word background to the bent piece of paper down here. Now we have a background copy. What you want to do is then file, save as PSD because we're still working on it. If you're doing it all in the same sitting, you do not have to do this right now, but that's what you want to do. So you have this as your working document because all of your final product will be on this one picture of you, or in our case, the celebrity. So we will open up our next picture, go to File, Open, and you'd have your second picture like this. What we're going to do is copy the background, like always, in Photoshop or in Photo P. Then we're going to zoom in and we're going to use our pen tool, which is right here. We're going to pen tool around this alpaca as close as we can. Try to get rid of any of the extra background color. So that's going to be our first start. You can see there's this red section starting to be created. That is the fill color. You just click up here, hit the red X, it disappears. So now we only have our line that we are creating with our vector points. So this is what you would want. This is ideal. So again, when you're using the pen tool, when you just click, it makes a straight angle. But when you click and hold it down, you have the little handles that help you create the curved parts of your designs. So we'll try to get as close as we can here. It's a little tougher. Any animal you pick that might have really distinct fur or hair, like this alpaca, try to get as close as you can. It's not going to be perfect because the hairs separate at certain points. You can see here. So we're going to try to get as close as we can to get the overall design of our animal. So it might take some time. Try to get this all in the same temp, so it makes it a little bit easier. It's harder to start and stop as you're going through. So try to do it all in the same sitting. It may be easier for you to if you have a mouse that you can plug in through the USB. If not, you can still use the trackpad. So they're fine. Just gotta be a little bit more sturdy with your hands. So again, try to get as close as you can so that your animal sort of will be cut from the background, so you won't be seeing this greenish, bluish background for our picture. It helps having animals that don't have as much hair or fur, so something that has more of like a closer, like short hair or um, like smooth like skin, make it a little bit easier if you still haven't picked an animal that you want to use. So again, making sure the first and the last point are the same. And if you're pen tooling, you can go outside of the box. There's no information on here that I'm going to be copying, so it's not going to hurt me. So again, first and last point are the same. There we go. So we have our full object here. You can see it's the blue line that's following our alpaca. While we're selected on shape, we're going to go to path on the right side here. We're going to use the selection tool. It is now selected for our animal. In Photo Pea, you don't really have the option to create a buffer around your uh, your animal. So try to get as close as you can. In Photoshop, you have that option. It's called feathering. So you have to do your best to get as close as you can, so you don't have any of the background information that you're accidentally copying. So we have our marching ants. You can see them here. So what we're going to do is go to our background copy, go to edit, copy, and then edit, paste. So now we have just our animal, like so. If you want, this would be a time to go in and make any last minute edits. So we can use our eraser, just here. So on the eraser, you have the size of how large it is. Let's see the difference. Also, this hardness. So a hardness of 100, it will cut right through your picture. But if you turn it down to 0, it'll make the edge transparent. So you can see it's starting to create a gradation, like so. Like it's invisible here, and it's fading away. So you can see more of the checkerboard. You can use this to your advantage, being that if you missed a spot, like we know this hair should be, more transparent. So we could do that now, or we can wait to get it into the overall picture, which we will do for our case. But that's what we'll be using the eraser for in this project. So we have our animal separated from our background. We have those layers turned off. What you're going to do, so when you see the checkerboard background, you're going to go to File, Save As, and you want to choose PNG. So when you save as a PNG, it'll have the checkerboard background, and it means the background is clear, and so that when you place it into our next photo, it will not have a white or black background. So we're going to use this. So save as PNG. You keep the quality at 100. Hit save. It is in my downloads right now. So we're going to go to our main picture. We're going to go to File, Open and Place. We're going to go to our Downloads, Alpaca, Choose. Here we go. So you can see our overall picture. We're going to make this a little bit smaller. And so we have a more of a tangible picture, maybe even a little bit smaller. Good. And then hit enter on the keyboard. So it's placed there. This is it right here. We are going to duplicate this layer, so you can right click on it, or you can drag it to the bent piece of paper. So we have alpaca and alpaca copy. We can turn off our originals, because just in case we need them for any reason, you want to have them available. There you go, rasterize. So now we can edit it. So to rasterize, you can click, you see this little box icon here. You can right click on that layer where it says the word whatever it is. So ours says alpaca. And if you right click, it says the word rasterize. You click on that, that icon goes away, and now that that layer is editable. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to edit our alpaca to fit our picture of Chris Pratt. So one thing I noticed is that our head is a little off kilter. So what we're going to try to do is rotate it. So we're going to go to Edit, Free Transform. And so you have this little bounding box. You can see it's this light gray. You can see these arrows are outside. This is like, make it taller, make it larger from the, dragging it from the corners. But you see this one has the curved arrow, so you could rotate your picture. We're going to try to rotate it so it sort of fits the same sort of shape of Chris Pratt. Something like this. So you try also want to line it up so we're covering up his ears, so we're matching it as best we can. So hit OK. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to zoom in here. We can turn this layer off of our alpaca. Next thing I'm going to do is I want to make the alpaca's neck right here feel like it's coming out of this t-shirt. And so the way to do that is I'm going to pen tool around the t-shirt of Chris Pratt all around here, and then copy and paste that and bring that forward so that the neck sits inside of that article of clothing. So I'm going to go to the pen tool. Go to zoom in here. Try to get as close as you can again, because this is what's going to make the feature of like the placing the two objects together feel a little bit more realistic. So on the other side here, it doesn't have to be perfect, but we want to give them enough space so that we know the neck's going to cover it up. So there we go. We have it outlined with our pencil with this blue line. You can see shape 1. Or again, we're on our original picture of the person. We're going to go to Paths. We're going to go down to Selection. Now we have our marching ants. You can see those here. Go back to Layers. Back to Background Copy now. We're going to go to Edit. Copy. Edit. Paste. So now we can bring back our llama picture, and it's we need to bring up our layer 1 so it's covering up that picture. So you want to click and drag that above our alpaca to help that alpaca neck sort of fit inside, like so. And so starting to get a little bit more of a natural appearance to it. Oop. So next thing I'm going to do is we're going to use the eraser, and we're going to go back onto our alpaca layer. Slowing down a little here. So the next thing I'm going to do here is go to the eraser, which is right here. Click on that. Our eraser is a little large, so I'll make that smaller. Again, if you want to use the shorthand on the keyboard, it's the brackets. So it's like underneath the plus and minus, so the left bracket is smaller, right bracket is larger. And what we're going to try to do is soften the edge of where like the fur is on the alpaca, as well as erase some of those parts that might not fit as part of Chris Pratt's like body and neck blend. So we'll start with his hair. Zoom in here. Make sure we're on the right layer, so we're on alpaca copy. With the eraser, go here. Hardness, we'll soften it, as well as we're going to turn opacity down. We'll say like 30. So again, that's only erasing 30% of what it's clicking on, and with the soft edge, it's only going to erase even less than that. So it becomes more like the hair is becoming like see-through, and so you're seeing the so it doesn't have as crisp of an edge. But if your animal has a like really distinct hair, like thin hair, or has a smooth skin, like if you have something creature from the ocean, you probably will not need to use this, since they'll have like really thin, either thin hair or no hair at all. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn the opacity up and make the hardness higher. Because I know I don't want to have this piece here, which is like hanging over the neck. I'll make the brush size smaller. Go back here and cut. Maybe one of his neck's coming right out of there. So we sort of began to reveal part of Chris Pratt's face. So the next thing we're going to do is going to try to cover that up. So I'm going to turn our alpaca layer off. So we want to cover up this part of the ear. So from our background copy, we're going to use our stamp tool, which is right here. We're going to click on the stamp tool. Again, you make the brush size smaller with the brackets or up here from the drop-down menu. And what you're going to use is that this copies and pastes certain parts of your picture as like a repeating pattern. So if you hold down Option on your keyboard, you have this little plus sign, like so. So I'm going to hold down the plus sign, click, and so you're telling the computer you want to copy that specific part. So now I can click. Now it begins to copy parts of Chris Pratt's ear because it's copying the information from those blue backgrounds. So I'm going to do that just a couple times. So I begin to make Chris Pratt disappear here. And so that when we put our alpaca back, we won't be missing any features. So a good start. I think our head's probably about this thin for the alpaca. So what we're going to do is we're going to identify the part we want over here as well. So hold down Option again, slide across. Now I need to copy this part of this shirt so it looks the same as it comes across. So if we bring our alpaca back on, now this head is disappearing. We have our alpaca. And next thing we want to do is going to blend his Chris Pratt's neck into the alpaca's neck. We have a little bit of space. We have about this much space here to blend them together. So while we're on the alpaca copy layer, we're going to go to our eraser tool again. Go under hardness. We're going to turn this down so it has like a gradient. The opacity we're also going to turn down. So what we're going to do is hold this down here. So every time I'm clicking, it's erasing about 22% of the picture above it. So my main goal is to get rid of that hard edge while also blending Chris Pratt's skin into the alpaca's fur. So I'm going to try to make this a little bit bigger with the brush and get a little bit more information. It's starting to make a little bit more of a softer transition here. So what we want. Still need to get rid of that bottom line. It's not bad. Now it looks like the facial feature, his neck line, is blending into the alpaca's fur. It's a good way to go. From here, you will be done. Any last minute touch-ups you might have, you can go in and work on those. So I'm gonna go back in here, and like I can see the green from the background of the alpaca. So I'm gonna turn the hardness back up, so it's only erasing exactly where I want it to be. I'm gonna make the eraser smaller. It's just the background from Chris Pratt's picture. So overall, you will have your spirit animal created so that they look like they blend well together. Another feature you might need to do for yours, if maybe you have hair that you want to bring on top of your animal, you can copy and paste that the same way we did the neck, the hair, or the collar of the shirt, and so you copy and paste it onto the top of your animal up here, or any other like features, maybe like sunglasses that you might have in your picture. We can bring those and adapt them to your animal, so your animal becomes more human, has more human qualities as being blended together with your picture. So this is what you have as a finalized design. You would go File, Save as PSD first, so that you're saving your original one, and then you're going to File, Export Png, and that's what you'll be turning in. Right?